Hi there everyone, my name's Aaron and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel called Aaron's Tech Talks. This platform and exciting series is going to be talking about a number of topics, but they'll be primarily themed around both physical, mental health, but also looking at emerging technologies and how they can considerably improve quality of life. My first video is going to be talking about both my experiences battling through mental health and how my strategies that I applied can definitely be appropriate right now more than ever, and thinking about some of those technologies that are on the market both today and tomorrow and how they will improve quality of life for the future. So here goes. Okay, so let's begin with the past and then let's talk about the present. So one of the reasons why I've chosen mental health as this week's Aaron's Tech Talk topics is because it gets really personal for me. In about 2015, my left lung collapsed, which led to a period of quite prolonged hospitalisation. It was only about 6 months after that where I had what I now know to be a panic attack, flashbacks and nightmares. I was subsequently diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. And this has fueled my passion for exploring how technology could have been applied to have improved that experience. Things like both app-based technologies, physical health, both mental health, implantable, ingestible and wearable technologies is absolutely my passion. So that's one of the reasons why this technology is so important to me. But if we begin by talking about both the app-based technology market, there's a number, and actually it's swarmed by a multitude of different apps on the market at the moment, but one in particular is called Headspace. Headspace is a meditation and mindfulness app, which is really powerful because it has a number of different tools for both, deep visualization, which is really powerful. It's got group meditation exercises. It has both sleep, all sorts of different techniques that you can use to minimize things like stress and optimize your mental health. So I definitely would recommend checking that out. In way of the group meditation exercise on app-based technology like Headspace, it brings some level of certainty and calmness in today's chaos of this global pandemic, but also this community feel where you're meditating in this much larger community, which is absolutely incredible. You might think that sounds quite hippie, but give it a go. I highly recommend it. Even the wearable technology market is really booming at the moment. If you look at devices a little bit like the Muse headbands, which can provide you with insights based on the meditation exercises that you're listening to, that looks at different things like your brainwave activity variation, for example, so you can almost tailor what you're listening to, so you can optimize that experience. Even looking at sleep improvement apps linking with the devices like Oura Rings and Fitbits and things are also really quite powerful tools at the moment, which I would definitely recommend. Another technology that exists today, which I don't think is too mature at the moment in terms of its application for mental health, is actually 8D sound. Now what that is, and if you haven't seen it, and I received a WhatsApp the other day from a friend, it's basically, it's not quite surround sound, but it's called spatial sound. So 360 degrees around your head, and it's heralded for basically it's your mind that's producing the spatial movements rather than the actual earphones. But what you could do is you could replicate some real life environment, combining that with like VR and so forth. I think that could be absolutely incredible, particularly for people like me that may be having trigger points that may be causing anxiety or panic attacks or so forth. So that was one thing that really got me thinking. So there are a few for today. Now let's talk about tomorrow. So welcome to the world of both measurement and monitoring. A world where things like advanced APIs for emotional recognition, a world where wearables link with both databases and systems in a secure way. This is what I view the next wave of innovation to be, when we can scale up systems, platforms and people all in one very secure way. What I think the real power with those within the next 2 to 4 years is actually let's develop the technology, but also the insights that it can generate. So I'm looking at data collection, I'm looking at interrogation, analysis, visualization. Now, lots of people might argue that technology is actually quite detrimental to mental health, But actually, I don't view technology, the future of that, applied to mental health in such a way. I think it can be used in quite a beneficial manner. So if you think of things like both chatbots and AI, we could be integrating tools such as image analytics and camera recognition to determine actually things like fatigue levels and also stress levels, and provide, much more tailored insights into how you can improve mental health through that. Thinking about things like connected fridges, for example, there are fridges today which already exist, which can tell you about the health status of the items in your fridge. Well, what about even if your appliances in your smart home, where we're linking in with apps and things like that, which could also tell you things about your quality of mental health. Of course, you need to think about the security and where that data is being stored, but these are very plausible technology improvements in the future which we could be heading towards. I view our next wave of technologies as predictive maintenance of the human being. And this is where it gets very exciting. And that leads me on to my next point, which is innovation in the future. Okay, so now I've spoken about technologies of both today, tomorrow, but what about the future? So I mentioned in the tomorrow category that there were technologies a little bit like biochips and so forth, and arguably they may even be in the today category. So for example, Profusa, which is a really exciting new company which are looking at bio-integrated, I think it's injectable devices, which can detect influenza strains 3 weeks before you could do that with conventional methods. That's very exciting. But I'm looking at a world in the future where these devices are mainstream, they're secure. One of the big problems at the moment with bio-integrated devices is ethics, looking at data privacy, and also the regulation that falls behind them. If you can get those right, we may be looking at a world of the connected human being, a world where hyper-personalised products becomes the norm. So for example, you could walk into your doctor's, or you wouldn't even need a doctor, because you'd have, for example, the Babylon app or the equivalent of a virtual doctor, be that a chatbot or AI or whatever, that would be using sensors integrated on and within the body, and even arguably around your smart home, that would then hyper-personalise products and medicines in accordance to what you really need based on your psychology, your physiology, your biology, and so forth. Now, I think that'll be really incredible, because one of the big frustrations I had when I was going to the doctors, asking them, really, what's going on? Like, why have I got PTSD? How can I recover from this as quickly as possible? One of their suggestions was taking medication, which I really didn't want to do. I fundamentally believe recovery comes from within. But I do appreciate that in many cases, medication is required. So why not get the exact requirement of what you need? And then also, if there's a possibility of coming off that medicine, how can you hyper-personalize that medicine so you can get off it quicker? I think that's going to be very exciting. So utilizing these bodily devices, both on you and within you, and leveraging those data sets for the future. I hope you've really enjoyed this series of Aaron's Tech Talks. This will be my very first one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whatever you do on YouTube. I'm quite new to this. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about a similar vein of technologies, but applied specifically to physical health and that space. So I hope you're excited for that, and I look forward to our next video. Thank you.